Hey guys, Madballer here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be going up against Jax in the top lane. For my runes, I'll be running Conqueror with Domination secondary, and I'll be starting Door and Shield in this matchup. We do want to play this level 1 fairly passive. If we can just last hit and poke Jaxes with Qs, that'd be okay, but we really don't want to get too close, because if he can E on us, he will win that engage. We've started off well with the first Q, so we'll try and, when that's off CD, we'll try and hit him again with it. If we can, we're going to push for level 2 first. In most matchups you want to be doing that. As long as you can shove the wave into tower and bounce it back, you should be fine. So you can see we've got Jax to about 2/3 HP from a few Qs, so we're getting some really good poke in. We'll hit level 2 first and try and go aggressive, but if we can just poke him out further, that should be fine. Now I do need to be a little bit worried about Rek'Sai coming up, because Rek'Sai did start bot side. At the start of the game, you always want to be noting where the jungler started. You can usually tell that from whether or not bot lane leashes or not. If bot lane leashes, obviously it's going to be pathing up to you at around the 2:30 mark. So you can see I get a ward down here in the brush just in time. Rek'Sai's coming up on his normal gank path. He's going to get some damage on me, but I'm fairly safe and I don't think I need to burn flash. And now my Elise is coming in as well, so I've got to be aware of that. So that ward really did save me. If I hadn't warded there, I probably would have given up first blood. Instead, we get some good damage on Rek'Sai and he's forced to burn flash, and that's going to give Elise really strong priority because she's up in HP and she's got flash advantage. You can also see here as well that Jax is shoving the lane back to me, so I can just place it as safe as I want. I don't need to do anything reckless. I'm not going to miss much CS, and I can just let that crush towards my tower, and that way I'm not at risk of Rek'Sai coming back. In this particular matchup, I probably want to start going quite aggressive at levels 6 and 7 once I have my ultimate, because then you do win that 1v1 against Jax fairly easily. Unfortunately, I'm under tower, which is a pretty tough spot to CS as Mordekaiser. If I can pick up most of these CS, I'll be happy. And it looks like I'm doing an okay job here. So I think Jax is backed here, but I'm in no rush to shove the lane. What I can do is I can last hit the wave, and because it's under my tower, it's going to slow push towards Jax's tower, and I can build a big enough wave and crash under his tower, and that way I can just walk back to lane without missing any CS, and then I'll have TP advantage if he burns TP. So now it's a cannon wave. You can see there's no minion wave for a while, so I want to crash this as soon as possible. Unfortunately, Jax did TP down. Not really much you can do about that. As I've said in previous videos, Mordekaiser's roam is not particularly strong. At level 6 it's okay, but most of the time you're going to be generating pressure in the top lane, and if you're strong enough, looking to 1v2 versus the jungler, so draw jungle pressure if you can, but generally your TP roams are fairly poor, and you really want to be focusing on getting up to that 2-item core of Liandry's and Rylai's. So Jax did make the roam, but he is missing probably about a kill's worth of gold, so it's not too bad a result, and I do get free farm as well. Now I would have liked to have backed with 1100 gold. 1100 gold will get you Ninja Tabis, which is obviously a fantastic buy against any auto attack champion or AD based champion like Jax, Renekton, Riven, Aatrox. All of these matchups, ideally you want to be rushing Ninja Tabis first. Because I've got a bit of a lead in CS and the early lane started well, I can just go for a blasting wand and rush out my Liandry's first. Liandry's is the item you want to be rushing in most matchups as Mordekaiser. The exception would be lanes that can kite you out or lanes that you need to slow down. So for example, Singed, any ranged auto attacker like Kennen, Quinn, Vayne, Rylai's is going to be your best first item. But otherwise, Liandry's is generally the preferred because it massively ramps your damage and it makes it very hard to 1v1 you. So now we do have level 6 advantage, so we can look to go aggressive on Jax before he hits level 6, and because he missed those waves on the tower, I'm fairly certain he's at least a few minions off getting that, so I do have a small window here. So I will ult him. If I can kill him, that'd be great. If I can't, it's not the end of the world. Unfortunately, I do miss most of my abilities there, but it's okay. We've pressured him down to about half HP, and we've still got the advantage in the lane. Now while we've got it shoved onto the tower, we are going to want to pressure him with the Q and E combo. Generally, Mordekaiser shoving onto tower is a great spot for him to be in, because if you can push them under tower, it makes it a lot easier to land your skill shots, particularly when they're caught between the side of the map there and the tower. A lot easier to land your EQ combo. And the other key thing there is that you can EQ while they're in the middle of the auto animation. That's probably a good tip. It's probably the best way of landing abilities there. You can see I go to Q him as he starts his auto animation. He can cancel the auto animation, but it takes about obviously a third of a second, and that way it's a lot easier to hit that. And you can see the damage I'm doing. I'm going to poke Jax out of lane and force him to TP. Oof, missed the caddy, unfortunately. We'll have to move on from that. So I should be able to pick up, I've just picked up one plate, I should be able to pick up a couple of plates, which is huge. It's about 320 gold, which is more than a kill. You don't really need to go for kills in the early game as Mordekaiser. If you can, it's great, but in most matchups and against good players, you're not going to be able to get it. The main thing is to avoid jungle pressure, because Mordekaiser obviously struggles to get away from ganks pre-6 and lacks the ability to fight back. So if you can avoid dying, you'll be in a great place, because once you hit that sort of Leandry's Rylai's core, you are going to have outscaled and be more useful than the vast majority of champions on top lane. So back to 1150 gold, so now I can pick up the Tarbies. As I've mentioned before, Tarbies Rush is a fantastic against Jax, because it shuts down a lot of his auto attack damage, and Jax's vast majority of his damage is auto attack based. The other underrated aspect of rushing tier 2 boots is that Mord's one of the slowest champions of the game, so any move speed you can get will really help him out with not being kited, getting back to lane, and all the other associated benefits that come with additional move speed. So right now I'm picking missing, because I've got no idea where Jax is on the map. Hopefully he's not ganking mid. But in the meantime, I'm going to shove the lane in as fast as possible, so hopefully we can avoid Jax getting away with a roam. Looks like Jax is rushing Blade of the Ruined King instead of Triforce or anything else like that, which is going to make these Ninja Tarbi buy really, really beneficial, considering the AD is stacking. So much of the same pattern here, except we see Rek'Sai coming in, so don't panic. I'm going to ult the jungler and avoid Jax's stun. He's going to ult as well, so I'll just kite back to my tower, and you see there I use my E to pull Rek'Sai away. Make sure to flash away, wait for Elise, and now we can look to fight the 2v2. It's a little bit of a dicey fight here, so we don't want to get too overcommitted and die. Doesn't look like we'll pick up the kill, but Elise did a great job anyway of backing me up and saving me from potentially dying on the tower there. So luckily we've got away from this gank with most of our HP pool, and we've still got a significant advantage over Jax, so we can continue pressuring him, knowing that Elise is still topside, and both Jax and Rek'Sai don't have ultimates. You can see a little bit of what I'm talking about there. Once he ducks under tower, it makes it a lot harder for him to dodge our empowered Q, and obviously now we're going to push him out of lane if he's not careful. Just keeping an eye on the mini-map here as well, because we can see Elise is in their jungle, so we need to make sure we're ready to rotate over. Looks like she's going for a dive here, so we'll see if we can pull this off. So I made a big mistake there by using my Q and E without waiting for Elise. If I just let Elise hit the stun, that would have been a lot cleaner. We're a little bit lucky we got away with that after using my abilities. So in hindsight, I should have just waited for Elise to land the stun, and then from there it's a pretty easy combo. So going back, we're just going to pick up the components of our Haunted guys, TP back to lane, and we're only going to miss one CS. And we're going to go straight back to trying to pressure Jax. My CS could be a little bit better this game. 79, 11 minutes is not great, but it's also not terrible. But we can see if we can pick this up now that we've got much more of an advantage in lane. We do see Jax mid. I'm not sure if they're lane swapping or not, But either way, it gives me an opportunity to pick up another plate, my third plate of the game. But we're not quite able to get that right now, as Kassadin is reasonably well farmed, and I don't want to risk him being under tower there and him being able to alter me. Just shield his damage, he's not going to be doing that much with just a rod. And I'm picking here to see if I can help out my mid laner and pick off Jax. I do interrupt Rek'Sai there, which is good because she was about to pick up the Rift Herald. And I am looking for this 2v2 because Pantheon and I are both stronger than Jax at this point. Jax and Rek'Sai, pardon me. Fortunately, Pantheon does get picked off, but I'm still looking for the fight. Pop my passive. Rek'Sai is fairly squishy with just Warrior Enchant this time, so I pick up a pretty easy kill, and I can get away with just shielding with using my max shield. Now, I would have liked at least to go for Jax here. It's going to be pretty difficult to catch a Kassadin with mana, even in the early game, but they both get away. But that's alright, we still picked up the return kill and avenged Pantheon. Do that a good combo on Kassadin. Jax jumps over and pick up another kill. Just barely with the passive actually, so that was a little bit lucky. Kassadin is jumping very confidently into lane, but I messed up my skill shots, so I decided to play a little bit safe and back up here. There's no point trying to give away a kill to a Kassadin. Kassadin's one of the hardest scaling champions in the game, so if he gets a few kills in the early game, it can make winning the game a dicey proposition. So it's just not worth it for me to potentially give up a kill. My team is invading. We pick up Rek'Sai again, which is fantastic. She's starting to struggle a little bit. Makes her a path down to help our Pantheon get out of the jungle. Now it looks like we're going to go for a dive here. It's a little bit uncoordinated, but with Pantheon's E, we do get this done fairly quickly, and I pick up another kill. So that was quite a good play by my Pantheon at least, and I probably should have been closer to them and following up quicker, but in the end it doesn't really matter. So now we've picked up our Leanders, which means we're going to be doing enormous damage, and we should be able to easily beat Jax in any 1v1 because he's looking like he's going for a Blade of the Rune King, but he hasn't finished the components yet. Burn Jax's flash. That was quite a good fight from Pantheon. Unfortunately, Rek'Sai does pick up a double kill, which is not great. But I'm still fairly confident with how our top mid and jungle are going, that we can help out our bot lane and still win the game. Pick up all that CS, and now we can see if we can bring down this top lane turret, as we do see Jax recalling in the mid lane. Rather than trying to farm the lane, I'm just going to be autoing the tower wave because I can see my medium wave is running low. And unfortunately Rek'Sai did pick up the Cloud Drake. So we are one apiece in Cloud and Dragons. Would like to go for the Dragon Soul this game, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon because we've only got one Dragon at 15 minutes. Now, I'm not sure where Rek'Sai is, so I do need to be a little bit careful. It's unlikely that he's topside. And I do hit an E on Jax, so I'm going to ult immediately. And he's kiting me out, which is a little bit irritating, particularly behind this little wall. But I'm going to be a little bit patient. I do catch him out here and pick him off for another. So the key thing there is just to be patient, don't get frustrated, and see if you can wait for Jax to make a mistake. So I'm just pinging my ult timer because I've got 10 seconds on my ult. So I am going to be looking bot lane, but I'll see if I can shove this out first. But I won't use my E because I know I might need about a TP, and E has quite a long cooldown. And the team doesn't need me, so that was fantastic with Pantheon with a triple kill. As anyone who's watched any of my other videos would know, that I absolutely love taking away the enemy jungle, particularly Gromp. It's so easy to take from Mordekaiser, particularly with his passive and Leandry's percentage HP. I am going to ping blue for my jungler, but looks like he's not interested, so I'll just pick it up myself. And we've managed to deny Gromp and blue from the Rek'Sai and keep him down and keep him weak. So Jax is going to come in. I'm not really sure what he's doing here. He definitely can't fight us and he's risking a little bit. And I get another E on him. But yeah, I'm not going to pick him off just yet. Looks like there's going to be a team fight. As you can see, Cass and Rek'Sai coming in. Luckily, we do pick up the Rift Herald. And we can pick up the Leona. And I didn't even get a chance to get an assist there because of how quickly they killed Jax. In the mayhem of that team fight, it looks like I picked up the Rift Herald, so we can see if we can make a play on top tower. Particularly as we can see, there's a lot going on the rest of the map, so there's no one else in the top lane to stop me pushing. So drop the Rift Herald. We'll see if we can pick up this top lane tower. So it's another 300 gold to me, and at this point I'm very fed, 4-0, with multiple plates if you remember the early game, and the second tower as well. So I'm just going to walk Rift Herald here and make sure I get off the damage on the tower. I'm not going to be able to pick up the inhibitor tower, but if we can get it down to about 20% HP, that's going to really help regardless. So at this point, at 19 minutes, we do pick up my Rylai's and a Flank Tongue. So I've got a 2-item power spike and I'm very strong. So I'll TP here just to help out my team because I wasn't sure if they're going to be engaged on further. I may not have needed to TP, but it doesn't cost me too much, and if it keeps my team safe, it's worthwhile. So you can see I've got a significant item lead over the Jax, who's now working on his Triforce after to play the Rune King, and I've got 2 completed items. The key thing there is we really want to keep pushing our advantage and close the game out early, because once Jax hits 3 to 4 items, he's going to outscale me, and if he split pushes, we're going to have real problems because I won't be able to handle the 1v1. The other members of the team scale fairly well as well. Kassadin's a late game scaler, and Kai'Sa. So a team with Jax, Kassadin, and Kai'Sa, it's a real worry if you can't close the game out early. So I'm just really conscious now that we need to end, and you can see they've actually just mentioned it in chat as well. Kassadin and Jax are late game scalers. One of the biggest ways I see people losing games, particularly in this low diamond, high platinum elo, is that they start the game well and snowball, but they lack the ability to close out the game. So it's going to be really vital here that we can try and look to make a play on Baron in the next few minutes, and pick up additional dragons as well. For my third item, I'm going to be looking to go towards Zhonya's. Zhonya's is the usual third item on Mordekaiser. It's really useful for team fights because it can keep you from getting bursted down. And the other key feature there as well is that if you can get in the middle of the team fight, get to low HP, and you've got your passive runner, you can pop Zhonya's, and you're going to sit there with your AoE passive, proccing Leandry's and Rylai's, and it can really shred the enemy team, and it can change a lot of team fights. So it looks like the team is gravitating towards Baron now. It's a little bit early, but we can see what we can do. I'm starting this Baron. Hopefully we can just peel off if anyone comes. We have been spotted. So now I am going to peel off, trying to immediately peel off because we don't really want to be doing it too badly at this point. Unfortunately, I do ult the Rek'Sai there, who did have Edge of Night, so that was really unfortunate. Oh, and we lose it. I think we're going to lose this. We lose a really close team fight, which is unfortunate. If Tristana had managed to get the reset, we could have aced them instead. But instead, Kaiser does pick up a quadra kill, which is not great. So yeah, I am going towards the components of my Zhonya's. Unfortunately, we did lose that, but considering how well the rest of the team is and generally how the game's been going, I don't think it's lost yet. We just need to obviously refocus and look to close out the game because we have given Kaiser a lot of gold with that quadra. So we are talking about, I guess we are talking about this Baron fight here in chat. It's fairly cordial and there's no real anger going on, which is the key thing for me. We don't want to be arguing the team. We could discuss it, but as long as we're not arguing, it's not too much to worry about. So again, yeah, if we lose another fight, it does get a little bit dicey, a little bit worrisome with their late game scaling team. So the next 5 to 10 minutes is going to be really vital in terms of whether or not we can win this game. Honestly, I'm probably talking a little bit too much in chat. I probably should just focus up and play. But yeah, we don't need to wait for Tristana to get to late game. Tristana's great in the late game, but if we get to that late game, we're going to struggle against their team comps. So our team's fed enough as it is. We just need to be getting objectives and closing this out. Looks like Pantheon's fighting Caster on top. We'll see if he can pick him up. And he does. So Pantheon soloed Cassidy several times, as you'd probably expect, but he's doing a great job of keeping Cassidy down and not too strong. So I do ult Jax here to save the Pantheon because Pantheon was about to die. Jax unfortunately is going to get away from now, and the team fight continues. And there's a perfect example of a good Zhonya's. I could regen HP while I'm in the Zhonya's as well, so you can regen a significant amount of HP there, which is not something everyone knows about. Jax is TPing back, so I'm just going to ping to get out of here. We've done alright as team fight. Let's just back out. Mount Drake's spawning in 44 seconds. This is going to be an absolutely huge fight for us. If we can pick this up, we'll be one dragon away from Soul. If we don't, it makes getting Soul a lot harder. Pantheon is dead, but with his ultimate, he can get back to the team fairly quickly, so I'm not too worried about that. And I'm asking Tristana to just group. I don't think we need to farm up for the late game for our ADC. We should be fine without it. I've picked up Zhonya's, which is another big buy. I'm looking for a ward to TP to, and there's not one, unfortunately. But I finally spot one, and I can jump in. So I just want to proc my passive as soon as possible with Leona, but you can see huge Zhonya's there, and they're all just sitting in the AoE, and I do a massive amount of damage this team fight, and I think I do pick up the triple kill there. I cannot stress how important Zhonya's is for Mordekaiser and team fighting. You do need your Rylai's Andrews first, but if you can pick up Zhonya's third and quickly, like in this game, it does a huge amount of work for you in team fights because you can play really aggressive, play up in their front line, and then just pop Zhonya's, and your passive is going to do a ton of damage without you needing to do anything as well. I don't think there's a lot else we can get done here because they're all going to be up in the next 8 seconds, but we might as well shove out the wave. Yeah, and it's time. Pantheon's got the right idea. It's time to back out here. We're not going to achieve anything else, so we should go spend our gold. And the other thing is, with our particular team comp, with Pantheon and Elise, we're going to really struggle to siege waves against their team comp. So we need to be getting picks or fighting over objectives, and then we can take towers after that. So in terms of the fourth item for Mordekaiser, you can go Morellonomicon sometimes, you could go Proto Belt, but considering that I've already picked up, I'm already doing a ton of damage, I've already got Zhonya's, I could just itemize out for their magic damage. They do have a Cassidon who's picking up, Kaiser does a lot of magic damage, so does Leona, so does Jax. So it's worthwhile here to get Spirit Visage as a fourth item. I'd normally only get Morello or another AP item at fourth if we had a tank. The team does pick up a couple of kills, so we can look to pressure and hip here. So we are going to engage in tower. And maybe we'll pick up Rek'Sai fairly easily, get the stats, pick up a double kill. And we're going to try and end here. With 30 seconds on most of their people, we should be able to finish off the game. So it was looking a little bit tough to win this game here, but a couple of really clutch Zhonya's and good team fights by myself and the team were able to turn this around and pick it up fairly comfortably in 28 minutes. There we go, yet another Zhonya's there to keep myself from dying. And we're able to finish off the game. If you guys like this gameplay commentary, please feel free to like the video or subscribe to the channel. Also, it's great to see some of you guys leaving your feedback below, so if you'd like to see anything specific in the future, please let me know in the comments section. Thanks for watching everyone, and as always, good luck in solo queue.